As we approach 3 years since the start of the pandemic, a new exhibit is taking us back to when the streets of New York City were empty and the lights were out on Broadway. It's called Dark. And just take a look at some of these stunning photos. They were shot by the man you are about to meet, Mark Kornbluth, and they will be on display at the Cavalier Gallery in Chelsea. That starts this Thursday, and Mark is standing alongside me right now. Mark, thanks so much for being here. We
Thanks so much
appreciate
for having me.
These images. You know, again, having been here in the city during the pandemic, when there was no one on the streets, I can only imagine. I had to come to work, but you were able to capture just some of these amazing photos. What was going through your head when you were walking these streets and you just saw that there was nobody out here?
Well, you know, it started during lockdown, and I was just watching a lot of my friends and colleagues post pictures of old pictures.
Yeah.
And I just really wanted to get out of the house and try and make some pictures of what was going on in Manhattan in the moment.
Is it one of those things where with every day or with every hour you were out there, you take a couple and then when you go back and look at them and say, you know what, there's so many other great pictures out there, especially in the theater district, that should be taken to capture this moment? Because, I mean, who would have ever thought we would bid in a time like this? But B, to be smart enough to be able to capture this and look back on it now.
It was, you know, it's a tragic time, but it was really remarkable to be able to go down to Times Square and really have whole blocks to myself.
Yeah, that was the thing that was so. We were broadcasting from a studio adjacent to Times Square, and when I would come out and when I would basically, when we would show up at work, to see absolutely no one in Times Square, it was like time had stood still. What kind of equipment are you using for this? Just basic digital camera, or did you have something special that you were using?
So I really wanted to try and convey how I was feeling while in front of the theater, so I was using a large format digital camera.
Yeah, and as far as, did you take images, have to go back and say, you know what, I really like this, but this isn't exactly the way I wanted it shot. I'm going to go back. I mean, how many times to capture stuff like this, or is this a one-shot deal? I mean, I know you're a professional, so.
You know, it's a great question, and I was really able to go back on a number of times. So I'd shoot something, I'd edit it, I'd see what I wanted to do differently, and then I had, you know, the luxury of time during the pandemic to be able to go back and really work these as a subject.
So talk to me about the gallery. How many images are you going to have on display? What can people see? What can they expect?
We're going to have about 20 images. They're all large format, so they're all, you know, 4 feet tall by however long they might be.
Yeah.
We'll have about 20 in the gallery. We'll have a few more in the back.
Did you have a favorite? I mean, I know when you ask certain artists about things, it's like asking a parent which kid they like best. Do you have a favorite?
You know, I don't. The truth is, there's something that I really love about each image. Part of it was, you know, sometimes it's what's in the image, sometimes it was the process of editing it. Sometimes it's just the content in the image. So, you know, I have a relationship with each image that I made.
It's hard to believe, I know when I mentioned it in the intro, that we're 3 years from basically the time of the lockdown. Is it still surreal to you, like it is to so many of us, to think back that there was actually a time where you could capture images like this, you know, on Broadway with not a soul in sight?
I walked through yesterday with a friend. We were having lunch and we walked through Times Square, and it was just amazing to see it populated again.
Yeah, it is nice to see people back, that is for sure. This was a surreal time, hopefully one we don't have to relive, with the exception of just in your photos and at the gallery. Mark, thank you very much for taking the time. We really appreciate it. The exhibit opens this Thursday at the Cavalier Gallery on 24th Street between 10th and 11th Avenues, and it runs through April 15th. And Mark, thank you again for being here, and we'll be right back.